What if I told you the final 7 years of human history, the Great Tribulation, could fit perfectly within God's appointed feast days, down to the exact day? Disclaimer: I do not know the exact day or hour of the rapture or second coming. What I describe below is just my own speculation about a possible timeline of the end-time events. So let's begin. The Bible describes the tribulation as exactly 2,520 days. That's 1,260 days for the first half, and 1,260 days for the second half. We read this in Daniel 7 verse 25, Revelation 11 verse 3, and Revelation 12 verse 6, each half lasting times and half a time, or 42 months, which is 3.5 years, or 1,260 days. Now imagine this. The rapture takes place on the Feast of Trumpets this year, September 23rd to 24th. Many scholars have speculated that the Feast of Trumpets is indeed a prophetic picture of the rapture, when God's trumpet finally sounds, and his people, the Christians, both dead and alive, are called up to heaven to be with him forever. Then, 30 days later, just as Daniel 12 verse 11 hints at a short delay between a major prophetic event and the beginning of the final countdown, the tribulation officially begins. The trigger? A peace covenant with Israel, the very one foretold in Daniel 9 verse 27. From that day forward, start counting. 2,520 days later, we arrive exactly on Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, in the year 2032. Think about it. The Feast of Trumpets could mark the rapture of the church. Yom Kippur, 7 years later, could mark the second coming of Jesus Christ, when Israel finally recognizes him as their Messiah, fulfilling Zechariah 12 verse 10 and Romans 11 verse 26. And here's something that will give you chills. The year 2032 is almost exactly 2,000 years since Jesus ascended into heaven after his resurrection. Most scholars believe that Jesus' crucifixion, resurrection, and ascension took place somewhere between 30 AD and 33 AD. Could this be the ultimate prophetic completion? 2,000 years of the church age, ending with the fulfillment of God's final appointed times? Everything fits. Every number and day count match. Every feast is perfectly placed. Now, this is not the first time I've discovered such a perfect day count match. In fact, quite often in the past few years, one could come up with a similar end-time timeline, with the rapture occurring between Feast of Trumpets and Feast of Tabernacles, and the second coming happening 7 years later in one of the fall feast days. In my opinion, this strongly confirms the case that the significant end-time events must fall on God's feast days. So, what's so special about this year's potential timeline? As mentioned above, we have Jesus' second coming occurring exactly 2,000 years after his ascension into heaven. To me, this year's and next year's potential timeline present the strongest case yet for the final 7 years of the church age. Of course, I could very well be wrong, and God may have other plans. But our God is not a God of confusion who confounds us deliberately. He usually leaves sufficient clues for us to figure things out. We don't know the exact day or hour, but the precision of God's calendar is no accident. The pieces are aligning, and if this count is right, the time left is shorter than we think. Are you ready for the trumpet to sound? Because the countdown may already have begun.